Jesus was in great agony over his approaching physical pain, separation from the Father, and death for the sins of us all. But the divine course was set, but he, in his human nature, still struggled. Jesus even says to his disciples, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." In praying, "Let this cup pass from me," Jesus was battling the flesh and its desire for self-preservation and comfort. The struggle was so intense that Jesus was overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. But Jesus also knew what was to come for him. And this was important because Jesus knew just that he would have to die, but that his death would mean salvation, that his death would mean that everybody would have a way to the Father. And he knew we needed the Father and that he was the only way that we could get there. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. Nevertheless, Jesus was committed to completing all the Father had sent him to do. Could God's plan of salvation be completed any other way? The events that occurred after this prayer prove that there was no other way. The only way for salvation and redemption to be offered to humanity was for Jesus Christ, the perfect sacrifice, to experience God's judgment against sin. It was impossible for him to bypass the cup. In Gethsemane, Jesus conquered the flesh. He did this through earnest prayer and intense, willful submission to God's plan. He had a firm foundation. He had trust in the Father and was obedient every step of his journey. The law appointed high priests who were limited by human weaknesses, but after the law was given, God appointed his Son with an oath, and his Son has been made the perfect high priest forever. Jesus is who we need. He fulfilled the law. He made a way for us to be with the Father. He is the perfect high priest who can intercede on our behalf and provide the grace of forgiveness. When all else fades, he remains. He is the strong foundation that does not change. We will get to this in the fall, but Hebrews ends with a reminder that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. We see beauty and glory like nothing we could ever imagine when our perspective changes from looking at ourselves or changes from trying to fit Jesus into what we want him to be. And in doing so, we make him so much smaller than he actually is because we just want to see him in our own situations. We want to open up our Bible verse and put our finger on just the verse that's going to speak to us in that moment. But he's so much greater.